Today I fucked up by removing my girlfriend's tattoos in Photoshop and realizing I'm not as attracted to her as I thought, and now I'm terrified for the future. Me and my girlfriend exchange nudes frequently. They never leave our phones or computers, and we trust each other on that. I like to mess around in Photoshop as a hobby, and oftentimes I use my girlfriend's nudes for practice. Change the lighting, remove and add things in the background. Sometimes I edit her into a Playboy cover for a laugh. A few days ago, I bought a new laptop as my old one died some time ago. I installed Photoshop on it yesterday and wanted to mess around with it. I found some tutorials online about Photoshop tattoo removal and decided to give it a try. Seeing as I had no work the next day, I also decided to get high. I gathered some pics of my girlfriend and went to work. My girlfriend has a big tattoo on her upper chest, covering her collarbones and the upper part of her boobs, 2 smaller pieces on her hips, 1 between her shoulder blades, and some smaller ones on her legs and arms. When we met, she already had all the major ones, and she did 2 more while with me. It has never bothered me. I thought her tattoos are cool. But before falling for her, I never imagined myself to be with such a heavily tattooed girl, but I hadn't really thought about it since then. Now I edited the pictures, starting from the smaller tattoos and eventually getting rid of the big chest one. I followed a tutorial and made a damn good job in my opinion. I ended up doing 3 pics, and when I was admiring my work, I got hornier than I ever had expected in my life. I've always considered my girlfriend's body to be a 10 out of 10. That combined with her wonderful personality made me fall in love quick and hard, and I didn't ever think to wonder how she would be if she didn't have tattoos. Well, now I know, and to me she would look infinitely better. Ultimate stamp of approval. I'm a home health nurse in rural Pennsylvania, and one of my patients lives in a little village type area on the edge of a bigger town. There's no parking for his apartment below a shop, and there's no street parking, but there is the little village post office right across the road, so I've been parking there. The post office parking lot can probably hold at least 20 cars, although there never seems to be a max of 2 people inside there at a time. Last week, as my nurse practitioner and I were leaving this guy's house, a postal worker popped her head out of the door and asked me if we were there to buy stamps. We said no, and she said we can't park there if we're not buying stamps. Cue malicious compliance. I went out to that person's house today, went inside the post office, and bought one single 58-cent stamp. Then I went across the road and saw my patient. I'm pretty sure it was the same clerk from last week, and I'm fairly certain she recognized me, and she asked just one single stamp? Yep.
Am I the asshole for getting my boyfriend arrested? I'll just get straight into it. I'm a college student and this was my last semester until medical school. I've never been able to get a loan and I've worked for 5.5 years to get this degree because I have to pay out of pocket, so it takes way longer. I've worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs at a time and barely had a social life. For this upcoming semester, I reached my goal for tuition, so I quit one of my jobs so I could relax a bit. I was a server/bartender at 2 bars and had an office job, so I always have cash hidden in my apartment in my closet in a box. And before the semester starts, a week or 2 before, I deposit it so I can pay my tuition. My boyfriend sometimes stays over when I'm there and when I'm not. Since I've been saving for this semester, he's the only one who's been over, and I've never told him about the box, but he knows I have to pay for school. Well, yesterday night I get home and put money in the box because I was planning on depositing it today and it's all gone. No, don't tell me your boyfriend took it. I freaked out and tore my apartment up thinking I put it somewhere else knowing I didn't. I called my boyfriend like crazy and no answer. I didn't sleep last night and I was panicking. Then this morning he finally called me back and I'm yelling at him about my money and he's acting all confused and like I'm crazy. He comes over but I'm still pissed off, and after a while he finally admits that he took it so he can borrow it and he'll pay me back. Where the F is he going to get $14,000 from in 2 weeks? Damn, girl, you made $14,000 off of serving and bartending? Good for you, shit. I mean, that's a lot of money. I went into a rage and called the police and reported a theft because that's what he did. Well, it's been hours now, and I guess he got his phone call because his family has been blowing up my phone and his mother has said some really hurtful and racist things to me. They've been harassing me for the past 6 hours now and it's stressing me out even more, and I hate the fact that I feel bad for him, but he stole my money that I've been saving for months. His brother did call and he was respectful and said they'll help him pay it back and I should just go to the police station with him and tell him I want to drop the charges, but I don't really believe them. I could do that and never get the money back still. I don't know what to do and I hate that I'm contemplating doing this. I'm just really pissed off and I've been crying all fucking day. Okay, you are definitely not the asshole for reporting this to police. I think that's the best thing you could have done. I think it's needless to say, unless I'm wrong, that you're not going to continue this relationship with this man because he's a thief. And so you definitely should not drop the charges until you get every single penny back. And then run away because he might hunt down and kill you because men are crazy.
It was an April Fool's joke. You can hang up on 911 now. To begin, I wanted to share this with y'all because allergies are taken very seriously. Wondering if anyone else thinks this is something I should possibly take legal action on since I suffer from horrible anxiety and has caused me emotional distress, or if I should just say fuck them and try to relax. I work dinner shifts at a popular Italian restaurant in New York City. Never usually have any hiccups, was in a great mood. I'm checking in on a table that had just had the first few bites of their entrees. One of the customers starts itching at his face and holding his neck. There's no sesame in here, right? My heart fucking drops to my stomach when he says that he has a sesame seed allergy that I need to call 911 immediately. My whole section is watching this man convulse in his seat, gasping for air. I'm on the phone with 911 getting all of this man's information from his license as his wife was crying. His wife then asked me what I said his birthday was, and she says that's not right. His birthday is April 1st, between sobs. I relay that to the dispatcher and my manager. The kitchen and staff is fully freaking the fuck out. Just as the ambulance pulls in, they get in my face and start cackling, "April Fools!" I thought I was going to be in jail and have a dead body in front of me, dropped my apron, and walked out the front door. I can't believe they took it that far and haven't fully processed it.
Am I the asshole for banning my deceased wife's parents from her funeral? Disclaimer, this is not my story. My 32 female wife, 30 female, passed away in childbirth about 3 months ago. Obviously, a sperm donor was involved, but the problem from the start was that neither of us wanted biological children and intended to adopt. Her mother has always said she wanted biological grandchildren, and despite insisting that she wasn't homophobic, she was furious when we got married and spent years demanding my wife have a child via sperm donor. Finally, my wife gave in because she had no health problems and was told it would be a safe pregnancy. Everything was fine until the birth. Because I believe her mother is responsible for her death, I informed her that she will not be told where the funeral is taking place. She also would not be invited and she would be told to leave if she tried to show up, and the same goes for her husband. I also made it very clear they will never have contact with their daughter. I'm considering filing a restraining order to keep her safe. Am I the asshole for banning my deceased wife's parents from her funeral? Disclaimer, this is not my story. They're mad that I've blocked their numbers, but fortunately most of my in-laws agree with my decision. My brother-in-law has completely cut contact with them. They didn't come to the funeral but have been telling everyone they know I'm a heartless monster who denied them closure, and I'm denying them access to their granddaughter out of spite. I've lost some friends over this, and my mother is saying that even if they're terrible people, they deserve a chance to tell their daughter goodbye. My wife said for years that she wanted to adopt when we were older and more financially secure. She always clearly stated that she never wanted to be pregnant. Her mother would call, text, and drop by to visit several times a week to guilt trip and harass her into carrying a child. When my wife announced our engagement, her father initially refused to attend the wedding. He did end up coming, but he did not walk her down the aisle. My brother-in-law was low contact with them already due to emotional abuse in his childhood. From my understanding, my wife was a golden child and felt pressure to live up to their expectations. Am I the asshole for not caring that my daughter didn't invite me to her wedding? Disclaimer, this is not my story. My 46 male ex-wife, 44 female, and I divorced when my daughter was 3 years old. My ex later remarried and moved to a different state. I had visitation and I tried my best to stay in my daughter's life, but eventually she just didn't want to spend time with me. She had a good life with her mom and stepdad. I paid child support and sent gifts at Christmas time and birthdays. If she needed money for anything, I would give it to her. I met my current wife, 28 female, about 5 years ago. We were friends for a few years before she told me how she felt. We had known each other so long, so our engagement was very short. We were engaged, married, and expecting our son in 1 year. My daughter is now 25 and engaged. My parents asked me about my plans for the wedding, and I didn't have any answers because I didn't know about it. I called my ex to find out what was up. She said that her husband was paying for everything and would be walking my daughter down the aisle. I was hurt, but I understood that my adult daughter made her choice. Am I the asshole for not caring that my daughter didn't invite me to her wedding? Disclaimer, this is not my story. I thank my ex-wife for making sure my parents got an invitation, then I went back to my life. I have a newborn that needs my attention, but I've been hearing from her family now. Apparently I'm an asshole who doesn't care that I'm not invited to my daughter's wedding. But that's not true. I chose not to make a big deal about it because I don't want to cause drama over a wedding. But now my ex-in-laws are all on me about not attending. My daughter is on social media saying how I abandoned her and how I'm not making the effort to come because I only care about my replacement family. My daughter, her mom, and stepdad all came to my wedding. When I say I made an effort, I mean I paid for her phone so we could talk. When she got herself a new phone, she changed her number and didn't bother giving me the new number. I took my vacation time in the summer so I could see her. I would make long weekends with my paid time off so I could drive 400 miles or more to see her cheer competitions. I didn't fight when her mom wanted to move to another state with her new husband because he had a good job waiting there.